Hey everybody, it's been some time, more time than I had wanted it to be. Um, I have gone through a lot of overwhelm in the last 2 weeks with work, just things that have occurred that have just sent me into like almost a nonverbal state. Like if I didn't have to keep on working and being a mom and a wife, like if I was single and lived alone and was going through what I was going through, I wouldn't talk. Like I would be perfectly fine just not speaking to anybody. I've actually been driving home the past week with no sounds, no podcast, no music, not talking. I even told my husband, like, I don't want to talk on the phone right now. Like, I need to decompress. And I have been in complete silence. And something that I have really like locked in on this past few weeks with all of this happening is that I have accepted 100% that with or without a formal diagnosis, I have I have a level of autism. And I may have ADHD with it. So I may be ADHD just from my behaviors. And I do believe I'm ADHD. But again, I haven't had a formal diagnosis. I have explored getting a formal diagnosis. But unfortunately, my insurance didn't cover it. And in order for me to go through the full assessment, it was almost $1,000 out of pocket that I just can't afford. So I'm going to continue to explore how I can get a diagnosis in a more affordable way. But just based off of the things that have happened in my life and the revelations that I've been having, and just being able to connect the dots of things, I'm just like, oh, I didn't know that it was a thing, right? Like growing up, I'm a 90s kid, so of course we all know about ADHD, but like really only know about ADHD in boys. And we're learning so much more about how ADHD and autism looks so different in girls, and how women don't get diagnosed until later, because the way that we present with ADHD and autism, sometimes depending on the level of it, we can look like the star player. Like we're the star student, we're the star child. We are not an issue, right? Like we might be emotional or we might act out in certain ways, but like for the most part, a lot of us, like we show up naturally, like just like the ideal, right? Like you get good grades, and for some people they don't, because we show up in a way where you're getting good grades, you don't get in trouble, you're organized, you're clean, you're all the things that, like, as a parent who's losing their mind, you're like, oh my God, I'm one of them, and which is why we don't get diagnosed till later. And then we learn that, like, that brings the people around us calmness. So then from a young age, we just learn to be like that, aka masking, right? And so a lot of us don't get diagnosed until later, because we go into maybe the corporate workforce, or we become moms, and we have things that disrupt and dysregulate our control over our routines and our spaces and our time for ourselves. And that's when it usually starts to come out. And that's what happened for me. I suffered postpartum depression, like pretty bad with my first one. Second one, not as bad, but I did. And I had a really hard time not having control over my routines, over my space. and I've gotten a lot better with that aspect, but there's things that have happened, and I've made friends who also are on the spectrum, and just having a safe space with friends that live life the way that I live it, and it's not weird and it makes sense. I'm like, oh. And like a very pivotal thing for me was, and I may have said this before, but my noise canceling headphones. So actually a year ago when I went through burnout and depression, and I was on family medical leave for it, I had gotten these Loop earplugs that are noise canceling. I don't know if y'all have ever seen them, but they are small ones that you can put right in your ear, and they're little circles, and they have different levels of noise canceling on them. They're made to be discreet. I believe, I don't know if their intention was for people who have noise sensitivity, who may need to have something discreet, like at work or in public, and don't want to be obvious. But they have, if that was their goal, hi, I'm a customer, thank you, I appreciate it. So I bought those about a year ago. I've used them on and off, and I had even told my boss, hey, if you see me with these on, and I've told my team, if you see me with these on, they're not headphones, they're just earplugs. They're noise canceling and I can adjust the level, so I can have them on a low, medium, or high, so that I can still wear them and like have conversations. It's just everything's not as loud. So I would use those on and off. I wasn't super consistent with them, but I always had them. And then I got noise canceling headphones when I was enrolled in my master's program, so that I could block out the noise and get my schoolwork done while the kids are in the house. But those are not small. They're big, and I've worn them before too, I think. They're pink, regular over the head headphones. And the way that those headphones have brought me so much peace and comfort, I was like, whoa. Like, and my husband kept saying, he's like, you really like those headphones, I'm really happy that you got them. I was like, I love them. I would wear them all the time if I could. I would wear these bad boys everywhere. And you know what? I have given myself the freedom and the space to wear them in the grocery store. Thankfully, it's so much more common now to see people with earpods in and headphones or whatever, and it's not weird. I wear them in the grocery store now. I don't wear them to work, obviously, but I wear them around my house all the time. I don't even have things playing in them. They bring on and I'm like this, and it's just, I'm making these connections. And so, you know what? I gave myself space this week to do what I needed to do for the way that my brain and my nervous system works. I needed to not talk to people. And I told my staff that. I'm like, listen, meat and potatoes this week. Like, it's a lot going on. Y'all can see there's a lot going on. It's very overwhelming. And I'm in a zone trying to problem solve. And so if we don't need to don't disrupt me unless you need me for real. And that was so freeing for me to be able to just be in my zone, even though I was at work and around people and had responsibilities. So yeah, I was toying back and forth for a while now, ever since the suspicion came up for me about, do I have it? Am I crazy? This and that. And I just feel like at this point, I have had enough experiences and enough conversations with people that are neurodivergent. Excuse me, I'm putting my sunshade up. But I've had enough conversations and interactions with people who are neurodivergent and diagnosed I've had enough revelations and connections within myself, within my life, and I'm not afraid of the diagnoses. I know that my husband is like, he's a little traumatized because he has ADHD, and back in the day, you know what that meant. You got an IEP, you were labeled, all types of things. You didn't get the services that you really needed. And so he has a little bit of trauma with that. And so he's hesitant for there to be labels. However, for me, I feel like it's very empowering because it helps me understand myself, but it also gives me space to share with other people, like, I can't handle this, and I need, like, these are my boundaries. And even in a normal working environment, like, I don't have to tolerate with this. I'm allowed to just say I had enough and I need a break and walk away, or work in a way that, some people get offended when you don't want to talk. And I shouldn't have to, but it gives me space to say, I need to work in silence right now. I'm very overwhelmed. It's not you. It's not anything you're doing. I just need a moment to regulate. That makes me feel so good. It also makes me feel really good to be able to share this with my boss. And I didn't before. When I came back and had these, I just said I need these things because there's distractions and people interrupt, and he gets it because obviously, like, he goes to the same thing, but it was, and so now I can share with him, like, hey, so when I'm like asking for something, or when I need feedback, or I need clarity, like, now you can understand that I'm not just being pushy or annoying or whatever. This is how my brain executes, and I don't work well with like very vague things and very open timeline. Like, it's very difficult for me. And like, so I mean, I have learned how to navigate working in corporate to an extent, but it also gives me that freedom of like, hey, when I'm working, like, because I'm part administrative, part clinical, and so like my patients are always going to come first. My team is always going to come first. And so it gives me that freedom for myself to say, well, my boss knows, and I know. And so like, if I prioritize this is going to wait till tomorrow. And I really don't want to have a conversation about it. Unless something literally urgent comes up in that moment, leave me alone. Like, you'll get it tomorrow. I need clear communication. So it's been so freeing to allow myself to accept it and view myself as such. And because of course with the ADHD hyperfocus rabbit hole, you know what I mean? So I'm like looking up all the stuff and finding people who I can relate to and seeing how they navigate life and set their routines and boundaries, and just how they communicate it to other people so people understand. And it's so freeing. It's so freeing. Because it makes it easier for me to show up in my workspace. Work is work. Companies are companies. But being able to release the expectation and the standard on myself makes it so much easier for me to show up in life. It makes me not feel bad when I don't want to do stuff. It makes me not feel bad when I'm overwhelmed. It makes me not feel bad, like, about the way I live my life. And yeah, so I mean, if you are questioning whether you may have ADHD or or autism, and you really want to explore that, I encourage you to do so. I think there's too many of us who, we come from that time where it's very taboo. You don't want to have labels, or the perception around the diagnosis is very ignorant. And I think it's empowering, especially for women, but men too. Like, I can't tell you how isolating it feels to think, like, am I the only one that thinks like this? Am I crazy? Why does and to find people like you Oh, it's so comforting. It feels so good. And people understand you. And everything about you makes sense. It's very rewarding. And I think it gives you that space to say, I'm not failing in the world because I'm not like everybody else. I process different. I think different. I need different things in order to be successful. And that's okay. And if people want to be ignorant about that and not accommodate it, that's not the space for you. But I think it's so, we need to stop living in a world of status quo, of acting like things that are normal for everybody. Like, we don't have to. And I just encourage anybody out there who is thinking it, who's feeling it, start asking your family questions about how you were as a child. Therapy is great. If you have a good therapist, start there because it helps you connect dots. And then, seek a diagnosis for somebody who is a professional in that space, and see, if you can afford it. If your insurance covers it. Mine doesn't, but yeah. So I just encourage you, and I encourage you to live your life freely in your neurodivergence and find your tribe of people that understand you.